Hi, this is Stevie Wonder, and we're listening to In Focus, sponsored by the Association of Blind Citizens.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of In Focus. I'm John Oliveira, president of the Association of Blind Citizens, and the Association of Blind Citizens is proud to be the sponsor of this program. Thank you all for joining us tonight, and we have some good guests coming up for you, which we'll talk to in just a couple of minutes. So this evening we have with us a gentleman that is known in New England as Mr. Technology. That's my name for him anyway. Well, Scott Krug is with us tonight. Good evening, Scott, and how are you tonight?
Good evening, John. Doing very well. Thank you very much for having me on your show tonight.
All right, and we're going to talk to Scott about low vision products, blindness products, training, all kinds of good things. So, Scott, tell the listeners a bit about Scott Krug, and how did you get into the business, and give us a bit of your career path in this product, this industry.
Sure, be happy to. Well, there's nothing fancy about it. It started out in 1992, so quite some time ago, when soon after graduating college I needed a job and found an ad in a local penny saver and got a job in the low vision and blindness technology. That was when the Kurzweil personal reader was out. That was when the visual texts were still there. And so I got a taste of some of this technology before some of these newer companies have come to the market. That was in New York is where I started. And now, after many years in different roles with different suppliers, so I started out with a low vision distributor in New York and then climbed the corporate ladder, so to speak, and worked for Lighthouse International in New York City and learned all about optics, and then followed the career path up toward a company called Optelec, where I was the national director of key accounts and called on all the agencies, the government agencies, the VA hospitals, state agencies across the country. And then in 2009, an opportunity presented itself whereby one of the suppliers was looking to have a dealer in New England. So I had recently been laid off and told my wife that I think I'm going to start a new company from scratch, and we have no insurance and we have no income, and I'm going to work out of the bottom of my house. And at that time, we had 3 young children under the age of 5, and we just kind of took a deep breath, swallowed hard, and went for it. And now, since 2009, here we are almost 10 years later. We're in our 8th year, and now we have almost every supplier under one roof. We're a technology company. We're a training company, and we cover all 6 New England states, and we also have a low-vision eye clinic starting out in Connecticut. So that's a little bit about me and my path.
All right, so let's talk about, well, let's first of all, we haven't mentioned the name of your company, so why don't we do that now? Or did we?
So we might have. The name of the company is called New England Low Vision and Blindness, and we have low vision products. Go ahead.
Let's give the website.
The website is NE Low Vision for New England, so nelowvision.com.
All right, good. We'll give you more of the details, contact details later. So let's talk about, you have many products that you carry, so let's talk about some of those products. There's been a trend in the field, and there's lots of changes going on. So let's first talk about products that you might have that would be good for seniors. That's well, you know what? Let's go from the other. Well, okay, we'll stick with seniors. We'll work our way backwards.
Sure.
So, tell us a bit. Maybe I know you have a lot of disc magnifiers, video magnifiers. Let's talk about those and some of the products that would be good for some of our senior listening audience.
Sure. Well, for seniors, we have technology for people, and I would say this is half of our audience at least. Half of our clients, what I would categorize affectionately as technology illiterate. So we have technology that someone with no technology experience who has just maybe been recently diagnosed with macular degeneration or some other form of vision loss can go right up to a new machine and begin to use it right away with very little training. So that type of product is called a desktop video magnifier, or CCTV, and there has been in the past one type, and now there are two types. So the first type is one that does not have text-to-speech, and the second type is one that has video magnification and also text-to-speech. So those are the two main products that most seniors are buying today.
Mm-hmm. And for those who may not be familiar with the term text-to-speech, can you describe what that means?
Sure. Text-to-speech is when you press a button, and this might sound unbelievable, but you press a button, and the machine will take a snapshot, an instant snapshot of your document, and then convert that document inside of about 5 seconds to speech, so you can hear what is there in the printed word. And it comes in very handy for mainly voluminous amounts of reading text, so books, periodicals, newsletters, magazines, newspapers, those types of documents.
So someone with an eye condition that might be a bit unstable, some days the vision is better than others, maybe that model would be ideal, because some days they might be able to read it using their vision, and other days they might not be able to, and they could still do the reading by using the speech.
Exactly. So most people want to have a device that can help them to see the bits of information that we need to kind of scan to make a decision. So, for example, what's the telephone number? How much is this bill? What is the expiration date? What is the due date? What does the calendar say? So you're not really reading a lot of voluminous amount of information, but you do need to have access to information in order to make a decision that's very important. So that you would use the part of the machine that is for your eyes. You might want to read a short story with your eyes, maybe an obituary, maybe it might be a recipe. Those you would use mainly for eye tasks. But then you might get a letter from your insurance company, or you might get a new book you want to read that's just been handed to you. So whenever you magnify something, it slows you down. And when you blend in that secondary part of the machine where you can turn the text into speech, it really is beneficial for voluminous print, because it does help the user to kind of go through it at least 10 times faster than they would be able to with just their eyes alone.
And sometimes that makes it so much easier when you can do it faster and easier on your eyes if you are just able to listen to it.
Exactly. You know, and most people turn away from the screen almost. They can turn their head away and just use their ears. And some people like to watch it, because it will highlight the word as it reads it to you, and you can magnify the word as it reads it to you. But a lot of people just like to turn away their eyes and give their eyes a rest. So people have complained, not everyone, but some people have complained that, just following the words along visually, I get tired and fatigued, and sometimes it just makes my head feel a little bit lightheaded. And sometimes different glares affect people differently. So just to be able to turn your head away and even just close your eyes and just use your ears, just as people are hearing us now audibly and conceptually are processing information, the same thing is happening with this video magnifier with speech. It just allows a user to access that information with a lot greater speed.
So a lot of our seniors are used to reading the newspaper. Now in the electronic age, a lot of folks are getting the subscriptions online and all that, but some of our folks still like to pick up that paper. How would this machine do with a paper, either using in the video part of it or the video speech combined?
Yeah, years ago, not so good. Nowadays, it's really good. I'm very impressed. I think years ago I would almost be apologizing for the accuracy, but now the scanning cameras, just I'm going to throw out a little bit of numbers here, but the scanning cameras years ago were maybe 2 megapixel, very low. Average today is 4 megapixel camera for your scanner camera. If your machine is really good, it's 8 megapixel, and the machines today are 13 megapixel. So it really does a great job, for example, on a newspaper where you have so many different quadrants and zones and pictures that it's not straightforward text as you might be able to have straightforward text in a book or a novel. A newspaper has so many different layouts, day to day, page to page, and these machines can just take a quick picture of it and then map out the zones, and then visually you can just kind of, we have two types of machines, a touch screen or a tactile machine. If you're using a touch screen, you can just touch the zone on the monitor, or if it's the tactile machine, then you can just press the button and you will be able to highlight the area where you want to read. So you can bypass the margins or the pictures or the captions under the pictures and just read to the article on the newspaper. It really does make it pretty enjoyable to read a newspaper like that using both your eyes and your ears.
All right, very good. So technology moves forward. We've talked about it's been doing lots of things lately, but it not only has it been changing, it's been getting smaller. So the video magnifiers we're talking about are desktop models. So let's talk about maybe some of the products you might have that are more handheld and that someone can use for shorter tasks or different types of tasks than you've mentioned.
Yeah, the handheld ones, there are a variety of different models, but you really want to have one. People have said to us they like being able to charge the battery where the battery is right in the unit. So it would remind you of holding a portable cell phone. It's almost the size of a cell phone. These portable video magnifiers are battery operated. They have a similar type battery where you never touch it. You just plug it in to charge it as you would a cell phone. The screen size is about the size of a cell phone, so it's about 4.3 inches or 4 inches, a 5-inch screen. You can even go higher than that, but then it gets less portable, up to 8 inches. But usually most of our demand for the portability is a 4-inch or a 5.5-inch size screen. And people, once they get, since we have multiple models and we have a lot of consumer choice, it's nice being able to show different models to people, because then it's amazing how one thing about a product someone likes, and you go and show that feature to the next person and they don't like it. They like something else. So that could mean one of the products has a built-in tilt. The next person says, well, I don't like the built-in tilt because that makes the product heavier. Another person likes the way the monitor and the handle are evenly balanced because it holds nice in my hand. So it really does depend on a person touching it and feeling it and getting a sense of the quality of the camera. Some ghost a bit more. That means when you drag your product over the words, some of the cameras are more high quality than others, and they will ghost less when you drag your product over the words. And some you won't even notice any ghosting at all. So everyone has a different sense of what they can see and what they can't see, and it's nice to have the variety to get people to touch and feel which one of these portable ones are best for them.
And what ways would someone use those? Again, sticking with our senior listening audience, what ways might they use that? What sort of tasks?
Sure. Some of the primary ways for the portable products are looking at the thermostat. People go, oh yeah, the thermostat. I have a real hard time seeing the thermostat. So thermostat is one. Bulletin boards, especially if you're around a senior community, around a senior residence, or even around your own house. The things that you might tack up on a refrigerator or on a bulletin board. You want to see a prescription number on your medication bottles. There are many expiration dates on prescription bottles that people don't see, and then sometimes they'll be taking outdated prescriptions. Also, microwave oven or the oven temperature, just where to press on something, on an appliance, even a washer and dryer. So it's really for spot reading when you're up and about, that a desktop machine or a more permanent machine that you have on your desk, you can't do it. Even if you want to go to a grocery store and read the price tag or nutrition information, maybe you have diabetes or you want to watch your caloric intake or how much sugar is in a food, well, you really need to look at the nutritional information on a food package in a grocery store and maybe the price or price per ounce. And so things like that are short reading tasks those are great for a portable product. And then, of course, the most common ones when you're out is when you go to that restaurant and you want to read the restaurant menu, and those restaurants have dimly lit areas, and all of these portable video magnifiers have a built-in very bright light so you can access restaurant menus. So all of these portable reading tasks when you're out and about, not the long reading tasks, but the portable ones where you need to grab tiny bits of important information to make a decision.
Mm-hmm. Great. So let's talk about the individuals who are still working and are starting to experience some vision difficulty. Let's talk about sticking with the video magnifier. What sort of situations can you tell us? Maybe a story of one of a customer that you may have worked with, an interesting job situation that you found it amazing, some amazing tasks that they could do with the video magnifier that they were having problems performing without the desktop or the handheld models.
Sure. Well, the most common story that is repeating itself over and over is that, now with this digital age, users do get a lot of information through their computer. Well, you don't need a video magnifier for that. You can just use the built-in softwares, or you can buy software to help you see things that's already digital within your computer. But what happens more often than not is someone gives you a hard copy and wants you to read this, or a printout memo, or something that's in your hand. Those types of things are classic examples that happen every day in many different forms in the work world, where you need a large magnification device in order to be able to see it. So spreadsheets, memos, any type of reading task that you need to read for that work project. And also, very important, you're going to be using this video magnifier for all writing tasks. So when you're filling out numbers or answering applications or anything that you need to sign on the dotted line, any reading or writing task that would pass through your desk during the course of a day, you would put that underneath this CCTV to have access to it.
Excellent. And continuing on to our education market now. I know there's college students are out there. We've talked about video magnifiers. What is popular with college students? Is there anything, you mentioned the one that has speech and magnification on it, and that would be great to maybe scan a book, and others who don't need the speech and the vision is fairly stable would use the regular CCTV. But what is popular amongst the college students as far as their educational sort of lifestyle?
Sure. The college age group is a whole different set of needs, and the main thing it boils down to is portability. They want to be able to be mobile a lot more so than someone who has an office space or is at home. So if you're going from building to building, class to class, what college students are saying to us is, you know what, I already have an iPad or an Android tablet. I already have a laptop, but I have trouble seeing the blackboard or the whiteboard. I need something that can plug into my screen. I already have a screen. I don't need to buy a large unit that has a screen and a camera. I need just a camera that can plug into my screen. So now for a college student, we would have a device that can connect to their device, their PC, their Mac, their iPad, their tablet. So that would be the viewing screen, and all we would be supplying is the camera. And these are battery operated. They can twist. The camera head can twist, so the student can aim it at a distance. The student can aim it down, or the student can aim that camera anywhere in the classroom. And these devices also have that built-in text-to-speech functionality for when there is a longer reading assignment that a student wants to be able to rest their eyes and just have the machine scan and read, and so they can listen to it with their ears. So that has been the primary go-to product for not only college students, but middle school, even high school, and mobile professionals, is the type of a product that has a twistable camera head for distance viewing and near viewing, and that can connect to their device.
So would that camera be able to see stuff like the whiteboard or things, maybe charts that the professor may be hanging up in front of the class, flip charts? Would they be able to read those items?
Yeah, anything that the professor would write on the board, so anything on the blackboard, anything on the whiteboard, the Promethean board, any type of map, anywhere in the classroom where the professor might be speaking or referencing, the student can easily zoom in or zoom out and lock in on an area where the writing or whatever's being presented is that particular area. A student can lock in their camera onto that location and then easily move it when they need to at a distance, and then they can easily flip the camera right down so they can look on their desk. So you have that increased versatility in a camera head that gives the student a lot of flexibility that they really need in the classroom environment.
Mm-hmm. And so you mentioned briefly the high school and the even down to junior high and elementary school. The models that those kids are looking to get, are they very similar to what the college kids want, or is there a more popular item for the elementary school even?
Okay, so the way this worked is the crash course, I'll give it in less than 10, 15 seconds, is that 30 years ago, you did not have a video magnifier with a twistable camera head. The camera only aimed down. And so students were forced to use a product that only aimed the camera down at the work, not at a distance. About 10, 15 years ago, then they came out with a twistable camera head, and it was from the cry of the students. You know, we want to see the distance as well as close focus. So there are a variety of camera heads that twist. So for a kindergartner, they would not use the ones that I just spoke about that can connect to a laptop or a tablet. A kindergartner would use an all-in-one system that had a twistable camera head. So it would have a built-in camera and that can twist and have a lot of movability and have a built-in monitor of varying size options. So you can get a 20-inch, a 22-inch, 24, even a 27-inch monitor. And then a kindergartner would be able to easily point out at a distance or work with anything with their hands underneath this camera. And I would say one of these products, they weigh roughly about 15 pounds. So it's not really portable, but it's luggable. And so a teacher can help a student move it from one table to another or from one room to another, or it can be put on a cart and easily moved around to an assembly so a student can see things at a distance. This is from K through about 3rd or 4th or 5th grade. But around 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade is when students really start needing the portability, and then they might transition to one of these twistable camera heads that does not have a monitor that can attach to one of their devices. So it really does take a little bit of talking with the students' needs, figuring out where they are in their education curriculum, and figuring out which is the best product for their next 2 or 3 years.
So in working with students, how is the teacher of the visually impaired a big source for you to help you determine what their need is, or do you conduct your own assessment and determine based on the child's activities what the best model might be for them? Sure.
It's the teacher of the visually impaired, I would say 99% of the time is the quarterback. So the teacher of the visually impaired is usually the one who contacts us on behalf of the student, and usually it's in the student's individualized education program whereby there is a requirement for some type of visual magnification needs. And so the TVI has access to that, into that requirement, and then will contact us and ask us to bring 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 different options based upon a pre-interview conversation to get a feel of what the student's primary goals are. And then we will demonstrate these products with the TVI present, with mom and dad present, with the social worker, with the SPED director. We would like, more the merrier for our demonstration process and give a student a real good test drive with figuring out which one of these tools would be the best one for them to use in their class environment with their mobility issues, whether they need to be stationary or not or move around a lot. And but the TVI would be the linchpin, the quarterback of this whole process.
Okay. Well, that's great. So we've talked extensively here about video magnifiers and different hardware. And is there any other product that we've missed that you would like to mention as far as hardware goes?
As far as hardware, the only main hot category is something you and I have spoken about offline. It's a category called wearables. And
right.
The wearable market, is a head-borne. So you have this technology on your head. So it takes the camera that, if you're familiar with what a CCTV is or a video magnifier, it takes that desktop camera or that portable camera and puts it right on your head. It's almost unbelievable. But so the history of that is years ago, there was a product called Geordie, and that was about 15-plus years ago. And many people who are involved in the field know that name, but that has been discontinued, and it has given rise to some other wearable technologies that are out there in the market. So why would someone want a wearable technology? Why would you want a camera on a head? Well, let me ask you this. What is the product that you would use if you wanted to read sheet music for playing a piano or a violin? It's very hard to use a desktop CCTV or a portable CCTV to read the sheet music. What is the product that you would use to more easily see the professor or the speaker? Or if you were going to be a senior and you wanted to go to church and see the pastor or the priest speaking, which product do you use for that, as well as holding the songbook or as well as holding the missal? We have many people who come to us and they're in the choir. They want to hold something in their hands and have access to it, as well as not only want to see what's close up in that book, but then to see out at a distance. So these wearable technologies provide a whole different point of access for someone who has low vision. One of the big, or the number one things that I overlooked when first re-showing these types of technologies is the desire for individuals to have social interaction and see people's faces. People quietly, after they get assessed for the school need, they want to see the blackboard. They want to see the Promethean board with these head devices. They want to see the ball game or the movie that's being shown in class. They'll say to me privately, they'll give me a whisper, and they'll say, I really wanted to check out the social scene and see, someone who I'm interested in, seeing what they look like. I hear them, but I only get what's going on visually. So just to see people's faces, who is across the room. It's also being used at board meetings. It's a product that's, if you're someone who's in business and you want to go to a conference, some of the big conferences in our field are CSUN or ATIA. If you're going to any conference, how do you see the presentation, the PowerPoint, if you're in one of these conferences at a hotel? Well, a head-borne device could allow you to see that. Another application is, what if you're going to go to a Red Sox game? How do you see the players there, or to the Boston Garden and see the Celtics or Fenway Park? How do you see the players? Well, a head-borne device can help you to see them much more easily. They have amazing distance capabilities and close focus capabilities, and so it's really opening up a whole new world for people beyond the straight desktop CCTV or portable CCTV.
Excellent. So let's talk a bit about software. There's magnification software, and there's speech software for those who are totally blind. And then there's a combination. So tell us a bit about the products that you might sell, or the products software products you might recommend for someone who's legally blind or visually impaired, and then someone who's totally blind.
Sure. Well, there's by way of market share, there are two top products that everyone knows who is involved in the field that we offer. So if you're not using a screen reader on your computer that's already built in, or that's free through an app somewhere, the number one low vision software is a product called ZoomText. And so that is something that you can try for free for, I believe it's almost 30 days now. Try before you buy. And that will enlarge everything within your computer. So if you wanted to more easily see email or the internet or YouTube videos or Twitter or anything that's in your computer, work applications like Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, QuickBooks, Quicken, any accounting softwares, everything that's in your computer, if you need it magnified, ZoomText, that's ZoomText, ZoomText.com is where you would begin to download that software onto your PC and try it out. And then if you wanted to buy it, they'll prompt you every day, but you just call us at New England Low Vision and we can give you the access code. The people who want to have speech, a robust speech synthesizer, if you're totally blind, is a product called JAWS. That's the number one speech product in the world. As ZoomText is the number one low vision product in the world, JAWS is the number one speech product in the world. So to have access to everything on your computer with speech, that would be a product called JAWS. And then there are some people who kind of need a combination of both. They need magnification, and they also need speech. Or there are some institutions that want to have access, provide access to people who need either a low vision solution or a speech solution. And then what that product is, the combination of ZoomText and JAWS, is when they fuse those two together, it's a product called Fusion. So those are the three top products, ZoomText for low vision, JAWS for speech, and Fusion is when you want to blend those two together into one.
All right. And what about some products that might generate Braille? Tell us about some of the products you may carry or some of the opportunities people have to use Braille.
Sure. So the Braille, we have a couple of things. One is a Braille note taker. And so one of the new products that have recently come to market in the past year or so is a product called Braille Note Touch. And that is a note taker device, and it has Braille input keys. And it also will have a Braille display. So it will be able to show in Braille the things that you're accessing within the system, or some of them will be able to connect to the internet, and whatever is being displayed from your computer, it will then show up on a Braille display on your Braille note taker. So one of them is called the Braille Note Touch, and another one that's gaining in popularity is a product called L-Braille. And L-Braille is also a Braille input device with a Braille display, but it also has a built-in computer, so you can blend that product with JAWS. So all of these products are, they can get, at first hearing of them, they can seem overwhelming or complicated, but what we try to do is with our team that we have at New England Low Vision is match you up with someone who knows those products intimately and can talk to you about your needs and make sure you're getting the correct product for that need. The other output devices that we offer are Braille embossers, and we represent 3 or 4 different manufacturers of Braille embossers, whether it's View Plus or Index or enabling technology. So if someone needs a Braille embossers, we have a variety of different options for them to look at.
Okay. And what about the standalone Braille displays? You guys always also carry those. Someone wants to use a Braille display with a laptop.
Yeah, those I believe the two of them are called, that are the most popular ones. One is from Humanware called the Braillient, and those have a number of different Braille display options by way of the number of cells it will display at once, and the more cells that you need, the greater the cost. So those can get fairly expensive fairly quick if you need a large amount of Braille cells to be displayed. I think they even go up to a 60 or an 80 cell as far as the Braille displays, the Braille cells that will be displayed. And then the other one, I'm losing the name of it, so it's the Brilliant, and I don't know if, John, you can help me with that, but
Focus.
The Focus from Freedom Scientific, it's the Focus 40 or the Focus, I believe, the Focus 60. So those are the two, the Brilliant and the Focus.
Uh-huh. And so you mentioned cost a couple of times, and I see on your website that you have an opportunity for people to, and some of these can range into the low thousands and just under 1,000. Prices have been coming down, but you do mention on your site that you guys have some availability to some used equipment or rental equipment. Why don't you talk about those programs?
Sure. It's always based upon what is available, and so at times we'll get some equipment back on trade, and sometimes we'll buy a piece of equipment to put into a clinic, and after a couple of years, we might upgrade that and take that back and look to resell that. So it's for the used devices that we are able then to offer at a discounted price, so a used price. It's usually at least $1,000 less, and on many of them, we're able to even put a warranty on them, and many of them would look brand new. You would not even know it was used if we didn't tell you. So we always tell you, but some of them are in very good condition. So people have the option of buying them outright, or people have also had the option of dividing the payments up and renting them. So some schools, for example, just for a short period of time, if a student needed a product for a couple of months, well, then schools have rented equipment from us, and then gives the student a chance to kind of try the equipment for the balance of that school year before they have their real technology assessment for the upcoming year. So there's different ways that people have seen value with the opportunity to rent equipment. Just breaking up the payments into smaller chunks is a lot easier too. So it is based upon availability. We do post the used equipment, and which is also the rentals, on our website. So in our search field, just type in rentals or used equipment, and you should have access to that list. And we are pretty good at updating that. It might be worth a phone call just to double check. Is that the most updated, or anything coming today or yesterday that isn't up there yet? So that's, or sometimes if someone buys it, then we have to take it off the list. So it's usually pretty accurate, but we might miss one here or there. But that gives you a good idea of what is available for used.
So let's take the opportunity to mention again your website, and you can give your phone numbers, different contact information that you'd like the audience to have.
So the company name is New England Low Vision and Blindness. And if you think of the word New England Low Vision, our website is NE, so the abbreviation, and then Low Vision. The website is www.nelowvision.com. And the phone number is a toll-free number, and it's 888-211-6933, 888-211-6933. And during the hours of 9 to 5, almost all the time you're going to get a live voice. And if that person is tied up, and her name is Tracy, she's wonderful, and she is visually impaired herself and had been using this technology for the past 15 years or so, and is a great access point for asking questions, and she can help navigate which is the best place to go for getting the information that you need, and maybe a demonstration that you want to set up. She can book a demonstration on the phone and answer any questions that you might have.
So this equipment seems like it would be very helpful for the end user to have a chance to see it before it's purchased for them. And you talked about demonstrations. Tell us how folks can see this equipment, get their hands on it, play with it for a little bit to see if it really fits the needs they're looking to use it for. Yeah,
it's very important that a person has a thorough and I like to say slow conversation with us or with someone they know and trust. But we don't rush the process. The worst thing in the world is for someone to buy a piece of equipment, a tool upon which they're going to rely for the next several years and spend a lot of money, and it's the wrong tool. So we really encourage a thorough conversation, and that starts with Tracy at our company, and there then are also 3 or 4 or 5 other people we can bring into the conversation. But we want to find out about you. Tell us about your eye condition. Tell us about primarily what is your goal that you want to do with it. Some person might want to be to help them with woodworking. Okay, we have a tool for that. One person is a senior, and we have, who stays at home. Okay, we kind of know where to go with the conversation. Another person is a student. So what really is the one question we try to answer is, what is the goal? And I would say that those conversations tend to last a while. So at minimum, they're about 20 minutes, upwards of about 40 minutes, sometimes over an hour. And you might say, whoa, that's a long time. But we really want to make sure that the process is right. And to some people, we say, you know what, the product can't do that, or that for that goal, this is not the best thing for you. You might want to try something else. Or you know what, there's an app available. We can point you in that direction. So we really try to match you up with the best outcome for the goal that you want. And then if it's a fit, we then provide a free demonstration. We encourage people to come to one of our 2 showrooms. We have one in Worcester, and we have one in Connecticut. And then if someone is unable to come to us, we can bring a portion of the showroom to them. So we always encourage you not to come alone, or if we're coming to you, to not be alone, because it's very good during this process to have a surrogate loved one, a family member or friend who can be a second set of eyes and ears to ask questions about the investment you're looking at making.
So you mentioned showrooms. Do you just have people just walk in and sort of they've read about it on your website and they've got your address and they just walk in and start looking at some of the devices, or is it really by appointment only?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked that, John. There is we have very few people now walking in, but we chose a different model. There's 2 different models. One is a retail store, and we're not that. Retail stores, you can walk in, without an appointment. This is a showroom, and we really want to have a person who is present that can show you the technology, that has not only the competence and the experience, but also has the time. So we're usually booked up at least 2 to 3 weeks in advance. Sometimes we're in the showroom showing other people, or sometimes we're out in the field at varying different engagements showing the products and talking to accounts. So we would hate for you to drive to us without an appointment and have no one there to show you the equipment. So yes, definitely at both of our showrooms, it's by appointment only, and that would be done by the first step is a phone call and speaking with Tracy or one of our team members and just walking through the process of what are your needs and goals, and then from that point we set an appointment. Okay.
And on the financing, are there any financing options that you guys have for a private citizen who comes in, or are there any, do you have some resources you can provide to them?
Yeah, I thought, I've been doing this since, I mentioned before, 1992, and I thought, even since then, there have never been financing options that, that I knew have taken off. And so the manufacturers, they're much bigger than us. They don't even offer them, but there are no financing options, unfortunately. And I looked into it personally, and the rates that we would need to charge for the financing would be very close to what a person would be able to have for rates on their credit card. So it didn't make sense for us to carry the financing. So everything is an outright purchase, and it's usually by a personal check or by credit card. I want to say that as far as funding resources, as your audience might know, the Mass Commission for the Blind depending on their goal and their vocational need, has been a tremendous resource. Also, if someone is a veteran, the VA hospital has been a tremendous resource with funding. And there are a couple of local organizations, depending on where you live in New England, that we can help point you to. For example, if you were from Worcester, I know of an organization in Worcester where if you weren't able to get any funding and you needed it, then there is a group that can provide some funding resources that has been very well. And also local Lions Club chapters have been very helpful with raising funds for the need. So there are options, but for an individual who is able to, who wants the product today, it is an outright purchase.
So if someone's listening to this show and lives in Florida, and they were to call you, and would you be able to point them out or direct them towards a dealer or a company that might be able to represent these or show these products in Florida or anywhere in the country?
Yes, that would not be a problem at all. This industry is in some ways like an automobile industry where you have local dealers. So you're not going to go to a local car dealer in Massachusetts if you live in Florida. So it's kind of a similar analogy. But if someone's listening to the program and wants to contact us after hearing this program, we'd be happy. It happens all the time. We get a lot of hits to our website, and we have to say to people, we're sorry you're from Florida or from Indiana or what have you, but we don't service that area. But we can pass your name along to a local dealer who can better help you with your needs. So that happens all the time, and we'd be happy to point them in the right direction.
Okay. Just because folks have heard things on this show and you're based here in New England, but the show does go out on the Internet, so you never know who's listening. So if they do have some questions about any of the products, then maybe it's still a good resource to give you a call, and you can point them in the right direction.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, very good. Time is running short here on the show. And, Scott, thanks so much for being with us tonight. Let's give your website and your toll-free number again one more time, and we'll let the audience jot it down here.
Sure. The company is New England Low Vision and Blindness. Website is nelowvision.com. That's NE for New England, nelowvision.com. And the phone number is 888-211-6933. Again, that's 888-211-6933.
All right, Scott, thanks so much for being with us tonight, and you have a good rest of the year.
John, many thanks. Thank you very much.